Good morning, everybody. Today I want to talk about levains. So, what exactly is a levain? In simple terms, it's a pre-ferment like a biga or a poolish, but the yeast source is your starter, not dried yeast. We can realistically call your starter a levain if you think about it. So, in baking sourdough with a levain, you're basically mixing a pre-ferment to make another pre-ferment from it, then mixing your dough. So why do this? Well, like most pre-ferments, it adds flavor to your bread. My Levain sourdough is more flavorful than my basic sourdough. Another point is you can play with the flavor profile of your bread by changing the types of flour that are in your levain. So, in essence, you can think of a levain as a flavor tool. So, if levains are so great, why don't I use it all the time for my sourdough bakes? Well, it takes another step. It simply takes more time. Most levains ferment in 12 to 14 hours. So baking a levain sourdough takes parts of 3 days, whereas baking basic sourdough takes parts of 2 days. The timing of a levain goes kind of like this. Day one, you feed your starter in the afternoon, so it's ripe sometime in the evening. Then in the evening, you mix up your levain, and then you let it slow ferment overnight. Day two, after the levain is fermented for like 12 or 14 hours, you mix about 15 to 20% by weight of the levain into your dough. Then you follow the basic sourdough steps and proof in the fridge overnight. Day three, sometime in the morning or the afternoon, depending on your timing, you can score it and bake it. So, as you can see, you end up using parts of 3 days to make a sourdough from a levain. I've tried shortening this process by a day by pushing the fermentation speed of the levain and the bulk fermentation. I did this by raising the dough temperature with a proofing box. But this defeats the whole purpose of a very slow fermentation to develop flavor. The bread tasted fine, but not as good as a slow fermented levain bake. In conclusion, use levains to up your sourdough flavor profile and also to modify that flavor profile simply by experimenting with different types of flour mixes in your levain. But be prepared. Be prepared to spend more time with the process and be prepared for a very good tasting loaf of bread in the end. That's what I got for you today. Everybody have a wonderful day and happy baking.